Hi, and welcome back for another episode of the Green Vegan Grandma, where we try to figure out how to best support the younger generations who are faced with a big changing climate situation. I don't know about you. Are you noticing any changes where you live? Because some of us who've lived a bit longer on the planet, I mean, maybe we're not scientists or anything like that, but we do have a lifetime of experience. Like, I notice sometimes the clouds look different than what I remember them looking when I was younger. I don't know what that is. I definitely notice bigger windstorms, and I started noticing those about 10 years ago. I can pinpoint that to when a large mountain nearby was clear cut in favor of a golf resort. That's about when the wind started, and my theory is that now there's nothing to stop that wind. It just blows straight across and over to here. I think now that I could say my belief is that it's also connected to the climate change that we're seeing. My friends who live on a nearby island had the biggest storms that they've ever seen this past winter. My friend lived there for 33 years, and he said he's never seen anything like it. So again, I just think if you're noticing anything, it doesn't hurt to at least be honest about that, and then we do what we can to help alleviate the situation. So, like I say, I got these friends. They live on a nearby island. They live on about 19 acres. They used to have an extra 50 some acres, but they donated just over 50 acres to become an island park. I just think that's really wonderful of them. When my friend Bernard bought the land off of a logging company, basically it was licensed for logging. I think they probably did some logging. They didn't clear cut back in the day. They used to just select trees. And there was nothing, though. He said there were no roads. He used the lumber then to build the buildings. I built a house, built a sauna, built a cabin that they now rent on Airbnb. I met up with the Sea Shepherd Conservation Society folk from Vancouver, and they came over to the island, and we were all there to help with the cleanup. So, do you know about Sea Shepherd? This is a society founded by Paul Watson, who was also a founder of Greenpeace. He founded this back in 1977. It's an international nonprofit marine wildlife conservation organization. Their mission is to end the destruction of habitat and slaughter of wildlife in the world's oceans is in order to conserve and protect the ecosystems and the species. Are very brave. They actually get out there on the ocean and challenge whalers and commercial fisher people who are doing illegal activities. So I suggest you check out some of their videos on their website, seashepherd.org. They're really awesome. And I was just really happy to meet with some of these brave and wonderful people. And while we were doing the work of raking and collecting and piling the big branches that had been blown down, we chopped some of it for firewood and built big piles with the rest. And then we carefully burned it. While we were doing all that, we had a chance to chat. And I learned that all of their ships' kitchens are always vegan. So all those ships that are out there with Sea Shepherd are always plant-based. So not all the volunteers on the ships are necessarily vegan, but the chefs are. And I think that just makes total sense. If you're going to fully commit yourself as an environmentalist, that also includes acknowledging that fishing is not good for the oceans. Farming is animals is not good for the land, whether it's industrial farming or small-scale farming animals. It takes a huge amount of land and resources. And also every animal, and fishes included, they have intelligence. They form families, they're sentient beings, they feel pain, they feel happiness, and they express that. You can see that. They have memories. We know that even fishes have memories and intelligence, and we don't have a right to take that away from them. So apparently Sea Shepherd Society totally gets that, and you got to respect them for that in addition to all the amazing work that they do. Anyways, this last winter, the worst that Bernard has ever experienced, Lynn Marie told me the winds were blowing so hard, she just thought, this is it, we're going to die. Oh dear, not a happy thing to be thinking. 100-year-old trees fell on their property, and luckily none fell on any of the buildings. A neighbor of theirs lost their house and a car to fallen trees. Imagine losing your house and your car. And then after these big 120-kilometer-an-hour winds, then we had a huge snowfall. You can just imagine it's a big mess. So a lot of people were without power, some for 6 days and others apparently up to a month. Not fun, but you know, island people, they kind of know what they're getting into within reason when they move to the islands, and part of island life is you get together and you help each other out. So this is what we were doing. We were clearing as much of the land around the buildings as possible, clearing up the debris, because if all that stuff is laying around, I mean, it was dry when we were there and it burned really fast. You imagine in the summer, if it's all just laying on the ground and somebody drops a cigarette and then next thing you know, the island's gone, right? So we worked first with wheelbarrows, and then a neighbor showed up with this massive big truck, and that was wonderful. We were able to load and unload about 6 or 7 truckloads onto this fire here, and then just carefully watched it. And we had hoses and buckets nearby, of course. And of course, Lynn Marie had secured a burn license so that, you know, other people on the island weren't freaking out that they saw all this smoke coming up. Somebody knew what was going on. And it all worked out really well. You know, fire is very destructive. It's also very beautiful. So I'm really grateful for the opportunity to work alongside the Sea Shepherds on this weekend and helping my friends get ready for whatever the summer is going to bring. If I was able, I'd definitely donate to the Sea Shepherd Society. They do great work all over the world, and usually they're out on the ocean. And I hope this inspires you to do whatever you can, wherever you are, to make a little difference in the world. The earth takes care of us, and we ought to take care of her too. I'll be back next week with another episode of Green Vegan Grandma.